Hi, it's Ebony again, and I'm here to talk to you about evaluating resources, what that even means, and how to go about it. There is so much information out there, especially online, but how do you know which information is right and which is wrong, and what are opinions and biased statements? To evaluate a resource is to scrutinize it to make sure it's valid, reputable, and something that can be accepted as fact because its information source is trustworthy. Okay, after hearing all that, you get it, but do you? Let me give you a real-world scenario. Your teacher assigned you a topic. You've got a paper to write about the Olympics. Great! You're an expert. You've been watching the games all your life. You can write about this based off of what you already know. But your teacher wants you to tell her about the evolution of the Olympics from conception to now. You can guess at some things, but you like to be right. Who doesn't? So you're going to need sources, and those sources have to be right as well. You want an A. And to get that, your sources have to pass the CRAP test. Yes, I said crap. CRAAP stands for currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. Let's run a CRAP test. We are going to test Olympic.org, the official website for the Olympic Games. All right, so the first letter in CRAP stands for current. How current is this website? When was the last time it was updated? If I scroll down to the bottom where the copyright for most web pages are located, I see copyright 2021. That means this website has been updated extremely recently. And if you come here, you see where they are promoting the Beijing 2022 Olympic Games. So yes, this website is extremely current. Check. R. And CRAP is for relevancy. Is this the information we're looking for? Well, your assignment was to write a paper about the Olympic Games. We want to know its origin, probably its mission, its funding. So all of these links here provide information like that under About. And if I come down to the bottom of the page, it also provides information about the ancient Olympic Games. So this is going to answer one of those questions that your teacher asked you, and that should be in the rubric for your paper. So check, yes, this is relevant to your project. Authority. Who is providing this information and can we trust them? If I come back up to the top, I go to About, I can click on who we are. If I read this first paragraph, it lets me know that the International Olympic Committee is putting the information out or checking this information for the website. And over here, I can see a listing for who the president of that committee is, the executive board, and their values. So check for authority. Accuracy. Now this one kind of depends on your better knowledge. I've skimmed this information. Things look to be spelled correctly. The grammar seems very sufficient. And I don't see anything that sets off any red flags in my mind that information on this site is false. Once again, it looks very professional. It's well organized. So I'm going to give it a check. All right. The last letter in CRAP is a P, the purpose. What is the site's intent? I see that their vision and mission is to support the Olympic movement. And I can go to About and look at the different things that they promote. But none of these things are trying to sell me anything. They're just telling me about the Olympic Games, their history, and what they stand for. So I don't think I'm going to find any biased information here except for them saying, yay, Olympic Games, and that is okay. So I'm going to say check. So this website does indeed pass the CRAP test. And now you guys know how to administer a CRAP test as well. Back to you. Great. You've got evaluating resources down. Now let's talk about finding resources. Google is great. I use it all the time. But Google gives you resources that can be fabulous or awful. Good thing you know how to tell. But here are some quick cheats when it comes to evaluating certain websites. Websites that end in .edu and .gov are usually reputable because they come from academic institutions and government sites, which mean the sources undergo a rigorous scholarly review process before they're even published. Websites that end in .org, .com, or .net. I mean, sometimes these websites can have pretty good information, but you must run a CRAP test. Org might mean an organization. Are they trying to sell you their product or sway you to their opinion? .com and .net are domain names that can be purchased by anyone. There are also resources known as Wiki. And I think everyone's favorite wiki is Wikipedia. Wikipedia is home to some great information. If you don't know something about a subject, a wiki article can give you the basics and even some talking points. However, who is this article coming from? Even after running a CRAP test, you can't truly trust quoting from a wiki. Why? because anyone can publish or edit a wiki article. Good articles from Wikipedia usually have footnotes where the author cites or mentions their reputable sources. Click those links and you will probably be taken to edu and .gov sites. And hey, if they're relevant to your assignment, you can use those too. Aside from Google, which gives you sources, good and bad, where else can you find sources for research? Don't act surprised. You knew I was coming back to the library. So at San Jose Public Library, we've got databases, we've got encyclopedias, we've got newspapers, magazines, reference books, and what's best is a lot of those things can be accessed online through our SJPL website. And I want to talk to you about one of our best resources for you guys to do online research on, and those are databases. What is a database? A database is an online electronic collection of, say, scholarly articles, newspaper articles, articles from magazines, maps, transcripts from interviews, images, videos, you name it, it's probably in a database and they're all compiled for you in one place. Now, there are many different types of databases and many different companies that own them, and some of them are arranged by topic. We're going to talk about the databases that San Jose Public Library actually owns and which ones we recommend that you use for your research. To find the best databases, we recommend for students to go to sjpl.org. You want to hover over the Children's and Teens link. From the drop-down menu, select Online Homework Help. On this page, you'll see a variety of online resources offered, and some of them are databases. The first selection you see are databases that specifically feature articles from newspapers, journals, magazines, and more. So if you're looking for a periodical source, you could look here. But if you are researching a specific topic and are looking for an assortment of different resources, articles, pictures, dissertations, chapters from books, videos, encyclopedia entries, and more, scroll on down. The databases I want to introduce you to are Explora for high school students and Explora for middle school students. I'm going to click on Explora for high school students just so you guys can see what it looks like inside of a database. Now, you will have to have your San Jose Public Library card for you to be able to access these databases remotely. So upon entry, you're going to see different samplings of subjects. Here's where you enter in what you're searching for. Let's say you're doing a research project on civil rights, and I'm going to type that in, and I'm making sure that I spell everything correctly because the database isn't as kind as Google, and if you misspell something, it will say it does not recognize that word instead of offering you a spelling suggestion. All right, and now the database says that it has over 137,000 hits on the topic of civil rights. So it is safe to say the database has got you covered when it comes to needing resources for your research project, because I doubt that your teacher will ask you for quite that many sources, maybe 5 to 10, and the database has you covered. And you have to remember that all of these resources are originating from different sources. So though you found them all in this one database, they're books and articles that are coming from various journals. They just happen to be compiled in this one place for you. I'm going to click so you guys can see what a database article looks like. Now that we're inside the article, you see it provides you with images. There are different links, and if you click on these links, it'll take you to other articles. You can also come over here and say, hey, maybe I want to read this later. You can email the article to yourself. If you're somewhere where you have access to a printer, you could print it out. You can choose to save it to a flash drive, or you can save it to your Google Drive. And also, here's a nifty little link. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more in depth about citations later on, in fact, right after this. But I want you to at least see where you'd find a citation in a database and what they look like. So these are professional citations, and I don't know if you guys have been told about citations before or have even created them, but the kind of citations you guys will probably use for your teachers are APA, Chicago, and then another here known as MLA. You can copy and paste these citations into your paper. Now that I've showed you that feature, I'm going to go back. Now that we're back to all of those lovely resources, remember how I said your teacher might only want you to have 5 to 10 resources? So while it's nice that this database has over 100,000 hits for you, you don't need all those, and I highly doubt that you want to read through them all. So now we can come over here on the right-hand side where you see things known as limiters. Now, a database limiter helps you narrow your subject. So the first thing you want to do when you look at limiters for databases is you want to make sure the limiter for full text is always checked. And then you want to check the box for scholarly and peer-reviewed. And what that basically means is that somebody smarter than the person who submitted the article read over it and said, yeah, I think this article's all good, and they posted it. So it's an extra crap test. But if you look, you see now we only have 2,000 articles instead of that 100,000, which is good. Now I can also change publication date. I'm going to change my limiter date and say I don't want anything older than 10 years. Now when I do that, that brings my article count down to 847. That is still an awful lot, but you know, better safe than sorry. You want to have more articles than you can manage sometimes. All right, now if you come over here, you can change your source type. You can say, hey, I only want biographies, or I only want academic journals or chapters from books. I can also change the Lexile range, meaning if I think some of these articles that have popped up are too dense for me to read or understand, they're hurting my eyes, I can say, hey, maybe give me something at a high school level, junior high level. I don't need that college level stuff. So you can play around with the ranges and see what you need. Coming back up, you can also say, okay, I need my term to be even more narrow than that. Civil rights and a specific movement, a specific person. So if I want to narrow it down even more, I can click on advanced search. And this is where I can add an extra term. So I can say civil rights and Malcolm X. And I'm going to spell it right, I promise. I'm going to hit search. And let's see what we pull up. All these articles should be highly relevant to what I'm searching. And now you guys know how to search the Explorer database. And one thing I can say is once you learn how to search one database, you can pretty much search them all. And it's the same for search engines as well. So now we're going to move on from database searching and we're going to go back to citations as I promised. Why is citing your sources so important? Well, number one, you want to give credit to the content creator. And at number two, you want your work to be able to pass a crap test for those who might want to reference you one day. Also, you do not want to commit a thing known as a plagiarism. Plagiarism means that you borrowed from a work, but you didn't give credit to the original author. You will never do that. When in doubt, always cite. All right, so we're done. Was that quick and painless, or just painless or quick? I don't know.